So I've had several people reach out to me and ask me if I would be doing the video that's been going around on YouTube for 10 fragrances that I'll never stop recommending. So had enough people reach out where I figured I need to make the video, but I'm put my own little twist on it where I'm gonna give you the 10 cheap fragrances that I'll never stop recommending. So stay tuned. Because like I said in the opening, you know, I know a lot of you like the cheapy recommendations because, hey, I really firmly and truly believe that's a good way to really start your fragrance journey, start your fragrance collection, start with a small budget, really start to discover what you like. And here's 10 of my favorites that you'll see me recommend more times than not because I just love them myself. Let's get into the first one. So this is definitely my favorite fragrance from Davidoff. It's Davidoff Cool Water Wave. Very similar to the Invictus Aqua style fragrances. Very shower gel, soapy, clean, fresh, aquatic. Doesn't perform real great. Very woody in the dry down. It's an easy wear. It's pleasant. You can get a 4.2 ounce, 125 ml bottle for $20. It's absolutely worth its weight for what it's going to cost for sure. If somebody can smell you, because it's not the best projection beast mode type of fragrance, obviously you can go nuts spraying this. When I do 10 to 15 sprays, and then when I refresh later I do another 10 to 15 sprays, you can go crazy with this one. But if somebody does smell you, they'll think you smell fresh, clean, and very inoffensive for sure. So the first fragrance that I'll never stop recommending as far as cheapies are concerned is Davidoff Cool Water Wave. Next, you know, a lot of people love Bentley for Men Intense, and I understand why, but really and truly my favorite that I've recommended over the Intense every time has been the original Bentley for Men. This is a little bit easier of a wear. It's a little spicier and boozier. It doesn't have as much leather. It doesn't have the smokiness. It's not as sharp of a wood. It's just enjoyable for me. I love this one. It performs very well. Still performs almost as well as the Intense. Not quite as beast mode as the Intense, but still a great performer nonetheless. And it's a few dollars less. It's right in that mid to low 20s range, most discounters where you can find it. And like I said, if you like spicy, boozy fragrances, this actually might be better for you than the Intense. A little redundant to have both. If you can sample them and see which one you like. But if you watch my videos and you trust my opinion, or you have similar taste to me, this is going to be the one for you. And it's a cheap fragrance that I'll never stop recommending because I absolutely love this one. We're talking about Bentley for Men, the original. Next, this is pretty much a cheap compliment machine. It's just what it does. Doesn't perform that great, but it's great for the office. It's very mass appealing. It's the original Coach for Men. I've recommended this one since the very beginning of my channel. I love this fragrance. That beautiful pear up top, salty ambergris, a beautiful suede note. It's kind of like a Dylan Blue meets Dior Sauvage type of fragrance, if you will. Really, really enjoy this one. This is one of the more mass appealing fragrances out there. It's clean, yes, it's synthetic, but it just smells really, really good. Very appealing to a lot of people. Great, like I said, great for the office. Great, just a young guy. This will do you very well. A lot cheaper than a Dior Sauvage or something like that. I've recommended this one many times in many different videos because I'm a firm believer in what this can do for you at the price point. A 60 ml like this is under 30 bucks. A 100 ml is in the mid 30s, 37-ish dollars range, which under 40 bucks I still consider a cheapie. Especially if you're willing to get a smaller bottle size like the 60 ml, in the 20s. You can get this, and it's 60 ml is going to last you a long time. And this is definitely one of those cheap fragrances that I will never stop recommending. That's the original Coach for Men. So when I say Versace Mano Fresh on a budget, a lot of you know what fragrance I'm talking about because I've recommended it many, many times. It's around 20 bucks. It's 20 bucks when you find it at the rack stores. It's around $25 from discounters online. It's Azzaro Chrome Sport. I did a full review last summer on this one. This pretty much smells like they put Versace Mano Fresh in this frosted Azzaro bottle. It's got pretty much the same performance and pretty much the same exact smell. Dare I say, a clone of Versace Mano Fresh, which that's not the most expensive fragrance from discounters, but let's say a 100 ml of that runs you in the 40 some odd dollar range. Cut that in half and you can get a bottle of this, and I'm telling you, it's pretty much the same juice. It's going to get you the same type of reactions and responses because people love, ladies love, the way Versace Man Fresh smells. It's one of the more complimented and beloved fresh DNAs out there. And it's pretty much what's in this bottle. And it's definitely a cheap fragrance that I will never stop recommending because I'm a firm believer in this. For the 20 to 25 bucks you're going to pay, pretty hard to beat as far as fresh fragrances are concerned. It's a Zaharoff Chrome Sport. Now with this next one, it's creeped up a little bit. It's getting right to that line of what I would consider a cheap fragrance. You know, in late 2019 and all the way through about mid 2020, it was right around 30 bucks. And if you can find it at discounters, it is 30 bucks for 100 ml. Talking about Uomo Signature Salvatore Ferragamo. One of the best cool weather fragrances. Salvatore Ferragamo, whoever okayed this as the release, is a smart person for sure, because this is a beautiful coffee and leather sweet fragrance. It's got great performance. It's loud without being too overbearing. It's long lasting. You know, even people with dry skin, I would think, can still get 7 or 8 hours out of this. This is definitely a 10 to 12 hour fragrance for me. I have oilier skin. I tend to get better performance out of a lot of these fragrances than some. But like I said, even if you got dry skin, you're going to get pretty good, better than what you're going to pay for it type of performance. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful scent. If you like coffee, leather, sweet fragrances, this is one of the best ones out there. I've recommended it many times on this channel because I stand by this one. This is probably the best cheap fall and winter fragrance you can get your hands on. Definitely shines in the fall. I like this one more in the fall than the spring. Wouldn't wear this one in the hot weather, but any of you watching me for a while, you already know that because you've seen me talk about this one many times because it's a cheap fragrance that I'll never stop recommending, and that's Uomo Signature from Salvatore Ferragamo. Next, this one's new to the collection. It's a 2020 release. I say new, but not that new, but new enough. I've got a few bottles of it. So that should tell you it's one I'm never going to stop recommending. It's the newest release of everything that's in this video. And of course, I'm talking about Abercrombie and Fitch First Instinct Together. I love this juice, as those of you that have been watching me for a while already know. I can't get enough of this one. I'm a firm believer, oh man, that if you like Invictus Aqua, YSL Y, the original First Instinct, if you like any of those fragrances, there's a really good chance you're going to like this one. They're out at the rack stores from time. They keep popping up, go away, popping up, go away. And that's when I get a bottle, you know, almost every time I see it. I don't get a bottle every time, but I've passed it a few times. But 20 bucks for this 50 ml, it's a steal in my opinion. Not the longest lasting fragrance. I get about 5 hours, but the first 2 hours of that 5 hours is a pretty heavy scent bubble. People can smell you real easy. Compliment machine, light blue fragrance at its best. It smells great. It's super synthetic, don't get me wrong. If you don't like overly synthetic fragrances, you might not like it, but 20 bucks for a 50 ml, 25 for a 100 ml. I don't know what they're going for online. I just go off of the Marshall's prices that I see because I run across this one quite a bit. If you see this one at Marshall's, give it a shot. That's all I can say. I'll never stop recommending this one, even though it's the newest one to the collection in this video. It's here to stay in my rotation. I've got 3 bottles of it now, 2 50 mls and a 100 ml. And who knows, if I see another 100 ml, I might grab it because I like to overspray this one. And I wear it pretty regularly. And that's Abercrombie and Fitch First Instinct Together. Now, I only really talk about this one when the weather starts to cool down. They pop up at the rack stores for 20 bucks for a 100 ml, 30 bucks for a 200 ml. Decent performers, and as I've said many times before, I believe it's the best beginner's tobacco. Of course, I'm talking about CK1 Shock from Calvin Klein. It's got a beautiful, sweet, moist tobacco with a nice tangerine, mandarin orange type of smell up top. This stuff's good. Youthful, great, cool weather fragrance for the younger fellas. Middle-aged guys on up, you can enjoy this one too. It's not overly playful, but it's not a serious fragrance. That's why I said it's got a good youthful appeal, which most Calvin Klein fragrances do for the most part, except for maybe the original Eternity and stuff like that. That's got a more masculine appeal. But this is great for the cool weather. Great winter fragrance, great beginner's tobacco. Not everybody's going to be a fan of everything, but man, I tell you what, this is just a great cheapie, and probably one of the easiest cold weather fragrances as far as wearability that I've ever put my hands on and sprayed on my skin. I really enjoy this one, like I said before with other fragrances. A lot of you have seen me talk about this one many times before, if you've been watching me for a while, because I just feel like everybody should have a bottle, especially early in your fragrance journey. This is kind of a must grab. This is a great starting point for a lot of things. Colder weather fragrances, tobacco fragrances, sweet fragrances. This is a great stepping stone, and one that I'm a firm believer in, and I'll never stop recommending. That's CK1 Shock, Calvin Klein. Now these next two are nostalgia picks. That's why I'll never stop recommending them. They're cheap. Some people don't like them. Some people love them. Starting with Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. I have another 30 ml like this. I have a 50 ml that's unopened. I've been wearing this one on and off since I was in elementary school. That's how long I've been enjoying this one. This came out, I want to say 94, and it was probably the first bottle of cologne, as we like to call it, especially when you don't know any better. The first bottle of cologne that I ever sought after at a young age. When I want to say it was around 95 was when I really started looking after this. When I really started, me and my friends started wearing Tommy Hilfiger. It really started getting popular, the clothing and stuff like that. And this is the first fragrance I actually coveted and asked for, I don't remember if it was a birthday or Christmas present, but I actually asked for it. That was the first fragrance I ever requested to get as a gift. And ever since then, I've just always loved this. It's fresh. It's got some grapefruit. It's the first fragrance I ever smelled with a cactus note. It's got that juicy, bitter type of fresh spice to it from the cactus. I love this stuff. I know there's a lot of other people that enjoy this one to this day too. Performance is awful. You know, 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4 if you're lucky. I always spray my clothes with this to push it towards the 4-hour mark. I spray it heavy. It's great in the heat. It's great in climate controlled environments, and it's super cheap. I mean, the reason I have 2 of the 30 mLs, I found them for $8 a piece on clearance at a TJ Maxx. And this one's starting to get towards the bottom. I got a 50 ml I found on clearance for $10 or $11. When I see them and they're a steal, I don't pass them up because I know over time I'll use them. And it's one I'll never stop recommending because it's just a nostalgia pick for me. I love the way it smells. I'm talking about Tommy from Tommy Hilfiger. Now, like I said, this one's a nostalgia pick as well, just like Tommy. And some of you may know where I'm going from with this because this is my favorite out the shower fragrance. It's what I wear it for. It brings me back to my childhood. Of course, I'm talking about Nautical Classic. It all started with the love from the old school vintage bottles. I actually chased down a vintage bottle last year. I actually got a gift set. I have the aftershave splash as well. The shaving cream that came with it, I cleaned that container out and I keep samples in it. Got the old school Nautical logo. But it all started with this one originally. It smells a little bit different. The original had better performance and it was a little bit more floral. But this is very marine, salty, aquatic. Not everybody likes it. I get that, but it's just a nostalgia pick for me. Online, you can find these for around $10 for a 100 milliliter bottle. And if for nothing else, it's just a running the errands, casual kickback kind of day, refresher out the shower, you know, keep it in the gym bag kind of fragrance. It's great for that. It really is. And like I said, you can find them online, $9, $10, $11. Hard to beat. You could do a lot worse with a $10 bill than getting your hand on Nautical Classic. You know, like I said, not everybody's a fan of it, but it's a nostalgia pick for me. It's one that I always say give it a chance because people spend $20, $30 on some fragrances that I would consider worse than this. $10 bill, you know, kind of hard to beat. I have another bottle of this plus the vintage bottle. I'll always recommend this cheapie, and that's Nautical Classic. So as I'm sure a lot of you were wondering where this was at, of course I saved what I would consider the best for last. I mean, come on. Salvatore Ferragamo, Aqua Essenziale Blue. My favorite cheap fragrance, my favorite blue fragrance. And I got a lot of blue fragrances, I do. I love the genre, I love the style. This is just my favorite. Price, same thing with Uomo Signature. I think it's just Salvatore Ferragamo as a whole. Their fragrances from discounters went up a few dollars. I think it's kind of a fragrance net thing. So keep an eye out at other places. FragranceNet had a buyout a while back, from what I remember, and their prices went up a little bit. Still great prices, but went up a few dollars. This, same thing. This used to be 20 bucks for a 50 ml. Now it's like 25, and the 100 ml is closer to 30. Still a great price. Performs on my skin, depending on the time of year in the summer, anywhere from 5, 6, 7 hours. In the fall, winter, early spring, I get every bit of 8 to 9 hours, sometimes even 10 from spraying my clothes. It performs very well for me. Really good sillage, really good scent bubble for the first 2 to 3 hours. It's kind of like Dylan Blue with some of the qualities of Bleu de Chanel. Not all the citruses, but a little touch of it, and maybe just a little bit of kind of that smoky aspect, but there's no real smoke to it. It's kind of hard to describe where I'm going with this for the Bleu de Chanel side of it. But if you were to mix a lot of qualities of pretty much mix Dylan Blue with some of Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette, that's pretty much what you get right here. In my opinion, that's the scent it gives me. Little bit powdery in the dry down. I know not everybody's a fan of that, but if you don't mind a little bit of powder, man, as you know, if you've been watching me for a while, there's no doubt I'll continue to keep suggesting this one to people because I've done it many, many times. I love this fragrance. There's no doubt I will never stop recommending Salvatore Ferragamo Acqua Essenziale Blue. Well, guys, that's the 10 cheap fragrances that I personally will never stop recommending to you, for those of you that enjoy watching me. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. I want to thank those that reached out to me and asked me to do this style video. Like I said in the beginning, I know this video is going around. There's a lot of people doing it, and there's niche versions of it and all this other stuff. I felt it was right for me to do the cheapies first. Depending on the response to this, I may do a designer and niche version of it as well. I guess time will tell. It's up to you guys. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these, you give them a spray now, I'm real confident you'll thank me later, because I'm going to keep on suggesting them to you. Have a good one, guys.